So it's that time of the year again where misinformation, miscommunication, all these sort of communication sort of things become more in focus as Mercury is about to go retrograde in the sign of Leo on July the 17th. Now, this is something that a lot of people start to fear, they start to get worried about, and a lot of astrologers say like to watch out and stuff around this time, and that is absolutely true. There is some things that you should watch out for, but you've been through these so many times. We have three every year, and it's an energy that we are quite used to. Mercury does move quite quick, so I don't want you to get worried about this. We are going to go through it and see what it means for us, this specific retrograde, look at the things that are going on in the sky, and also we're going to look at it through the 12 signs, so make sure you stay for that. But watch the first bit first, because that's the important bit where we like show you what this retrograde is all about and what things are actually coming into play, and which has helped me shape what the forecast looks like. If that's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Jay, and my goal with this channel is to help you build a Saturn-proof business that is not just profitable, but actually feels good and actually fits your life. That is one thing I faced over the 15 years of building a marketing agency and doing work for other people, doing client work for other people, is that it didn't fit my life, and I spent a lot of my time doing that, doing the work and doing all that sort of stuff that I didn't have time for myself. And that's where I want to help you, because astrology has helped me do that. So if that sounds good, maybe consider subscribing. So Mercury is the planet of communication or understanding. I like to think of Mercury as if the sun's your heart, the moon's your emotions and the way you feel. Mercury's your mind. Yeah, it's your mindset. It's your the thoughts, the ideas that you have, and then how you actually communicate these things, how you communicate your thoughts, your ideas. It's the logical side of things, the analytical side of things even. When Mercury is in the sign of Leo, it's about bold communication, saying the things that need to be said, not hiding, taking center stage, being that main character of your life, not shrinking to fit everybody else's vibe. Standing for what you believe in, standing for the things that you value. You do get that sort of a dramatic flair to your communication, if you like. You're a bit maybe more flowery with your words. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But it can make you feel a little bit proud, and a little bit that when you start to get a little bit proud of your achievements and the things that you've done and your experiences, and you maybe start to talk about them a little bit more proudly. Just be careful, because that could become prideful as well, or egotistical could be a thing with Mercury being in Leo. Leo's very authentic. It's about self-expression here. Yeah? And with Mercury, it's the words. So retrogrades, like I said, this happens 3 times a year. And it's about slowing down. That's what happens with the planet. It slows down and it appears to move back through the zodiac. So that's what we're doing. Think about it, what actually the planets do. It's slowing things down. We're slowing down our words. We're slowing down our communication. We're slowing down. And then we're looking back as it moves back through the zodiac. So this period is not a good time for launching something new. It's not a good time for starting a new relationship. It's not a good time for commitments of these sort of things, because you are going to be looking back over things. It's much better to look back at what the lessons you had to learn from things, relationships, projects, all these things. It's better to look back at these things and learn from them, so that when Mercury starts to move forward again and you start to integrate them, that you can learn from them and move forward and grow from these things. But I mean, I've seen many relationships start during a Mercury retrograde, and they're very good relationships. So don't if something happens that you're like, I can't not do this, don't not do it because Mercury's retrograde. Just be aware that you need to do the work to look back as well, and that'll make this stronger going forward. Yeah. So there's a little bit of an added nuance, if anything. But it doesn't mean that you have to avoid. I would avoid doing these things if you can. But if they're like, if you've been in a relationship or you've been dating and you're getting to that stage where you're like, okay, I want to make this more of a thing. I want it to be more of a permanent thing. I would not do that because Mercury. And I would just do the looking back during it, so that you can see if this is really the thing that you want. even if you maybe hang on till after the retrograde, still do your dating and have fun and all that stuff, but just set the actual commitment after. Same with clients. Like if you're working with a client and you're wanting to maybe they're a one-off client, and now you're like, okay, let's maybe try and get them onto like a membership, and maybe wait till after the retrograde period, and then make that commitment with them a little bit stronger then. I think during this time, you might be looking back at conversations that you've had in the past. Things that have maybe shaped the way that you are now. You might find yourself looking back at these things, old projects, old conversations, the stories that you tell yourself that are making you play small, that are making you not want to take center stage. These sort of stories, these beliefs, these sort of conversations, these might come back, but not as in like they might physically come back, but it could just be more about the thoughts of these might start to come back so you can learn the lesson. However, I did mention there, people, they can come back into your life as well around Mercury retrogrades, and that's okay. Like, what is the lesson that you need to learn? It's not so much about if it's an old relationship or something. It's not so much about going back to that relationship. It's more about, right, let's look at that relationship. What went wrong? What did we learn? How can we move forward from this? Yeah, whether that's like, okay, it's nice to hear from you, but I don't want to hear from you again. Or whether that's, okay, let's like just let bygones be bygones and leave it at that. Whatever it is, or maybe have to talk through some, get closure, whatever it is, these things might come back around this time. And I don't ever think it's usually, I wouldn't say that it's a thing that you have to like, oh, this person came back into my life, I have to rush back into a relationship with them. I wouldn't be doing that around this time. Projects as well that you never finished, you might find yourself looking back at them like, oh, I remember that. Like, why did I not finish that? Is it maybe a time, maybe now I maybe start working on these again to actually bring it to completion? I think one of the biggest things here, a lot of the things that you're going to be looking back over is how you feel about being seen. How are you showing up when people are giving you that praise? When people are like, are you showing up as that, I'm proud of this, that I am proud of myself. I don't need these people to validate me. I'm proud of myself. Yeah. But when they do, I'm going to let them know I'm proud. Yeah. I'm proud of what I did. Don't take the prideful approach. And just remember, this energy is, everybody's feeling it. It is going to affect people differently than maybe somebody who's more aware. Like, you're now more aware because you're hearing about it from me or another astrologer, so you're more aware. So you may be able to look out for these things. Whereas other people who are unaware, they may not. So they might be more prideful. They might be more egotistical. They might be more of these things, or they may be more loud, no filter, not for the better. So just bear in mind that this is happening. Miscommunications are a thing. Misinformation's a thing. All these communication, learning, all these sort of things are a thing that could be from other people as well that is impacting you. Before I go into the timeline of this retrograde, there is a few wee things. Pluto is going to oppose Mercury as soon as Mercury's in Leo. So at the time of recording this video, he's already there. That opposition is in motion, if you like. Now, it is kind of like 3 degrees, but I would give this about an orb of maybe 3 degrees. So I would say between 1 and 10 degrees of Mercury, 1 degrees and 10 degrees of Leo, you're going to feel this opposition. It's quite a big opposition, and I'm going to go through this when we get into the 12 signs. And it's like, where are you giving away that power? Where are you trying to control things? Where are you trying to manipulate things? Maybe because it's scared. Maybe because of an old fear or an old wound that you've got that has led you to be like this, that has led you to give away your power in these certain situations. And there's going to feel like this push and pull between wanting to be that main character, wanting to be the visible one, wanting to do this stuff, but also wanting to hold on to that power and control and shrinking and trying to manipulate it to stay controlled and comfortable and in power. Whereas you can have both. You just need to find the balance between it. Yeah. And I think you're going to start to feel this push and pull right away as soon as Mercury enters. And then when Mercury goes into shadow, I would still say you're going to feel it for a little while before it sort of, you don't feel it. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to be a thing through the whole retrograde period, but there will be an element of this, I do believe. As well as that, we have got to remember that Uranus is now ruled by Mercury. after the 7th, 8th of July, depending on your time zone. If Mercury is ruling Uranus, that means that your communication, your thoughts, your intellect, the way you communicate, the way you express your mind, your mindsets, these things can lead to breakthroughs. These things can lead to even shocks. They can be a little bit disruptive. Things could be disruptive for a little while that lead to breakthroughs. There could be some shocks and stuff like that. But we need to remember that this is one thing that does change Mercury retrograde over the next 7 to 8, 9 years, because Mercury rules Uranus while he's in Gemini. So misinformation, miscommunication, all these things with Mercury retrogrades, they all can lead to what the Uranus story is in your life, but it's through Gemini. So we need to remember this as we're going into this. And I think there maybe be pivots that will lead to change. Maybe you'll have to change your mindset a little bit to actually get things. And I think it's going to make you feel like you need to be more curious. Yeah. And again, that's why when I'm saying make sure we're not starting new things, try not to start new things and look back and do the work. We'll use this time to reflect, because if you're doing that, then you're being curious about these things, then it can bring these things that can actually help you, like take things and learn things from them to go forward, rather than always pushing forward. And Gemini energy can be a little bit like shiny object syndrome. So where you're like, oh, that one, you know what I'm saying. So just be careful with that as well. So I do think that's a thing, but we'll go through, when we go through the 12 signs, I'll go into this a little bit deeper. So the timeline for this, on June the 30th, Mercury entered shadow at 4 degrees of Leo. And this is a time for you to start to take notes, because this is going to show you what Mercury wants you to work on throughout this time. This is a bit of your life where you'll have to come back to. So look at the things that are going on. What topics are coming up? Take notes, journal, whatever it is for you. Voice notes if you're more like that. Whatever it is, take the notes of the things that are coming up in your head, the thoughts, the ideas. These are something that you're going to come back to at this moment in your life, yeah? This is what the pre-shadow is all about. It's looking back, taking notes, all that stuff. Then on July the 17th, when Mercury reaches 15 degrees, he'll station to go retrograde. So when Mercury goes retrograde, like I said, it's all about looking back, revisiting, reconnecting, reflecting. If it's got a re in front of it, it's probably a good thing to be doing. This is like what things need a second chance, what things need a second pass. Yeah? So then Mercury will move back from 15 degrees to 4 degrees. And then when it gets to 4 degrees of Leo, it'll station and it'll go direct again. And that is us. The Mercury retrograde is finished. But he's not full power. He's still a little bit slow. He's got to gain speed. And then that's where the post-shadow happens. And again, this is now you're going over everything for a third time. So it's like, this is your chance to integrate. This is your chance to, all the things you've been learning, this is your time to make it happen. Yeah? So during that, so that's from the 11th of August to the 25th of August, that Mercury is going to be in this post-shadow phase, where we're now going back and redoing all the things that we've been looking back at. We're now making them happen. Yeah? And that's how I like to look at retrogrades. Like I said, this is not a time to be starting new things, if at all possible. Like I said, if it happens, don't fear, don't worry, don't be, this isn't a good thing. The only thing is, when a planet's retrograde and you're looking back and you start something new, like a relationship or something like that, these things, you're going to be revisiting it 3 or 4 times, 2 or 3 times. So you're going to be looking back, is that really what I want? Is that not really what I want? And it's just not a great vibe. Whereas there's much better times throughout the year that you can do it. So I would say, if you can, there'll be a better time. Yeah? But if it's going to happen and it's going to happen, it's okay. Don't fear it. Yeah? The things that can happen is miscommunications, misinformation, tech glitches, that sort of a thing. And these things will happen. They happen. And just remember, if people are coming back from the past, doesn't mean to run back into a relationship with them. What signs are going to feel this the most? Well, Gemini, Virgo, you're ruled by Mercury. I think you will feel the Mercury retrograde the most. But also, I think Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, I think these will have the best because these are going to form a trine with Mercury if you get placements in Aries, Leo, or Sag. I also think that Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius, these are going to form a square or an opposition with Mercury retrograde. So that could maybe create a little bit of tension during this time. There could be a little bit of miscommunications, these sort of things going on for you. So Taurus, Scorpio, or Aquarius, you maybe not feel get the greatest benefit from Mercury retrograde when it's in Leo. But it doesn't mean this is not, oh, you have to feed it. Yeah, this is just, there might be a little bit of tension, or there might be a little bit of something that you need to work on. And that's okay, because that's going to lead to something better. Yeah. So now let's go into the 12 rising signs. And I would suggest that you watch this for your sun, moon, and rising to get the bigger picture. The rising, I find, is always the most accurate because it sets up your chart. So I always find that that's the most accurate. Now, if you are using a system like Placidus, please be aware that I'm using whole sign. Yeah. So the houses might not match up with where they are in your chart, depending on what house system you're using. If you're using Placidus, they might get a little bit off. So just be aware of that when we're going through this video. Okay, Aries, sun, moon, and rising, you are up first. For you, Mercury is going to be transiting through your 5th house. And I think this could bring old creative projects back. This could bring the things that the way you express yourself into the spotlight. It can make you want to look back at things that have maybe shaped the way that you are, the way you express yourself. It might make you happy looking back at these things. There could also be some things with kids. Watch out for miscommunication, misinformation. Maybe you were told something from a head teacher, or someday your kid's friends that is actually not actually the thing. It was just, yeah. So just, there could be some things going on with kids. The 5th house also rules dating, romance. It's the things we enjoy. So you might get, you might have messages from old flames coming back and that sort of a thing around this time. So just, again, why are they coming back? Is there something that I need to learn? Is there something that I can take from this that we can move forward? Or is it maybe that we were just better as friends? I don't know, but they're exes for a reason. Yeah, that's what I always say. Now, you have got to bear in mind that Uranus is in your 3rd house at the moment. That means there could be things with siblings. There could be communications, or maybe a project with a sibling that was started that now with Uranus being there, that is going to actually lead to a breakthrough. Or maybe there's a breakthrough with a sibling or an extended family member that's to be had. Maybe there was a fallout, but this Mercury retrograde, you're looking back and you start to make things better with that person. So that you can actually get the breakthrough. And like, there could also be some shocks. Again, Uranus likes to be a little bit disruptive to get you that breakthrough. So there could be something that comes up here around siblings, around your extended family, your local community. It could also be something from childhood as well, your early education years, your sort of primary high school years, elementary for the Americans, the American audience. There could be some things around there that you're maybe looking back at, that you need to learn something from throughout this time that could lead to that breakthrough, that could lead, it might mean shocking at the time, but now you're sort of looking back at it and you're learning from it, and that could actually help you grow. Another thing is with Pluto, creating that opposition with Mercury, it's like, are you showing up authentically, or are you shrinking with the people in your groups, the friends that you hold? Are you the quiet one that sits in the back? Now, Aries, I would be very surprised if that is the case. But it's maybe not so much. Maybe you're trying to get the power in the groups, even, that you're being bold or being direct, and you're trying to, but it's actually the thing that's holding you back from like actually leading in your best way, Aries. So there could be some things with groups and showing up authentically, or like, are you showing up as the best version of you, Aries? Just keep an eye out for that during Mercury retrograde. But Aries, that's it for you. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising, we are moving into your 4th house. And this is all about your home, your family. Could be your physical home as well. The place where you feel safe, secure, and your inner security. Yeah? Your shell, if you like. So this is where you go to retreat, your private life. I think with Mercury moving in there could be some communication, there could be maybe some misinformation, there could be things that you're learning that are creating family dynamics. You maybe go back to look at an old style that you had from the past where your decorations in home, you maybe be like, oh, I'll maybe go back and try that again. Maybe paint the walls purple, I don't know. You maybe do something like that. They could also mean like looking back at the family, like from when you were a child. Is there some family conditioning there that is maybe shaped the way that you express your thoughts, express your ideas, that you maybe need to work on around this time? And again, maybe you don't feel safe actually taking the center stage. And that's why you're wanting to retreat in, or you want to stay at home, or you're not wanting to. It could be like working from home as well. But there could be just that thing where you just don't feel safe with your words. That sort of a thing that you need to work on around this thing that Mercury is going to help you with. Again, with the second house being activated with Uranus, there's a chance where you could get finance, you could get breakthroughs with finances. Also, you can get shocks from finances, because I always like to think of Uranus like it's that disruptive to help you get the breakthrough. Yeah. So it's like a little bit of chaos to help you get it. And things always start off like that, and then how big that chaos is, we don't know. But there could be some things with money going on around this time. Like I said, you might want to work from home. These things might bring you your breakthroughs and shocks. Again with Pluto being in your 10th house, 10th house, that's like your visibility. Yeah, that's your visibility. So where are you hiding and not showing up? Where are you dimming your words or molding your words and not expressing yourself authentically to stay hidden? Yeah. Or are you the opposite? Where are you molding your words to stay visible? Yeah. This is the power dynamic that you've got here. It's like against visible and hidden. Look at these things. These things might come up around this time, and that could be like why you're maybe now deciding to work from home, because you're like, oh no, well, when I'm in there, I'm not actually getting the same growth. But when I work from home, I get so much more done and everything's better. Or it could be the opposite. Maybe you work from home, but you want to like make things more public. Or maybe you're like, do you know what? I'm fed up with this company. I want to start my own thing. Yeah. That could lead you to your next breakthrough. And that's why we're thinking of working from home. Taurus, that's it for you. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, we're moving into your 3rd house for Mercury Retrograde and Leo. And this is the house of the communication. Yeah, so Mercury is really, really comfortable here. And again, just watch out for miscommunication around siblings, around your extended family, your local communication, your local community. Watch out for things that you're maybe other people being prideful to you, or you being prideful to other people around this time in your community. I think for you, there is that sort of it could be like looking back at old content that you've maybe put out in the past, or you maybe thought about starting that, but you never really took it anywhere. It might be looking about, right, what's stopping me actually moving to take this step, to start the YouTube channel, to start the blog, to start the podcast? What's stopping me wanting to do these things? And more, maybe looking back at childhood, your early education, was there something there was there a belief or something that you picked up along the way? Because with Pluto as well, your 9th house is activated, and it's like that search for meaning and that knowledge, that wisdom and knowledge. There's that push and pull. The beliefs that have shaped you are maybe creating that power dynamic, yeah? Where you're maybe holding on to old beliefs that are limiting you, that are not letting you grow and expand. So there could be some of these things from childhood, I think, with it being the 3rd house, maybe around high school, primary school, elementary school. And the thing is, your 1st house is activated with Uranus. So there could be some things from you, yeah? You needing a little bit of a shake-up. If you maybe went a little bit stagnant with things for you, are you just showing up that way because it's just the way you've always done it? And but what's the point in changing now? I've been doing it for so many years and everything's okay. Maybe you need that little bit of a shake up to be able to get the breakthroughs. Yeah. Are you just saying the things that you think people want to hear, Gemini? Yeah. What is actually helping you shape? Like, what is actually shaping you here? Like, are you, like when you're with your friends, are you the same person as when you're in front of a camera? Are you the same person when you're with your family? Why do you shapeshift? Yeah. Now, Gemini, you're very adaptable, so it probably happens without you even thinking about it. Yeah? So it's like looking back and seeing, like, am I showing up in all these ways? Was there something in childhood that has shaped the way that I do this or why I do this? And it's maybe looking back, addressing the wounds, addressing the things that have shaped you so that you show up more authentically. I get feeling that with Pluto in your ninth house, there could be some limiting beliefs, maybe religious beliefs, your faith, these sort of things, maybe things you learned from university, higher education, that are maybe shaping your beliefs and stopping you, like, showing up authentically everywhere. That could be something that you maybe want to work on as well around this time. But I think with Uranus in your first house, there could be that little bit of things that you need a little bit of a shake up. Gemini, that was Mercury retrograde for you. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We are moving into your second house with Mercury retrograde. This is all about your finances, your money, the way you earn money day to day, your material possessions, your self-worth, your values. And I think the thing I wrote down here is, does money define who you are? Do your material possessions define who you are? I think that that's something that you maybe want to look at. Like, if you're saying the things that keep you at that income level or thinking at that way, then is that because you have defined yourself by that income level rather than, well, I'm abundant and I can see all this stuff and I attract and everything to me? Like, are you thinking like, okay, if I just behave like this certain way, then, and have these values and these beliefs, these are the things that are going to just keep me where I am? I get that vibe that it could be a little bit of something going on like that. There could be breaks and shocks from going in and looking at these patterns. Yeah, Uranus is in your 12th house. It's looking back at these things. Yeah, what are the things, the hidden patterns, the shadow that you maybe don't want to look at? Are these shaping these beliefs that you need to stay comfortable with money, with all this stuff, by staying a certain way and not evolving and not growing and not changing? Because Uranus wants change. So there could be breakthroughs in that are coming to you that you in shocks. They might be quite subtle because it is a 12th house that's more hidden. Even sometimes we don't even feel it. So, like, you might have to actually take time to be alone in solitude to get these breakthroughs. Or there could be some misinformation, miscommunication with somebody that makes you think, okay, do you know what? It could be around work. Like, do you know what? I'm really done with this now. That I'm made for so much more and I'm not going to take this anymore. There could be things like that that come up around this time that make you want to, where you're not defining yourself by the material possessions that you've got, where you're not just doing things to stay comfortable. And I think that that's one thing with the Pluto being in your 8th house. Yeah, there is that push and pull between the words you're saying and the communication and your intellect and your thoughts and your mindset and power and control. Yeah? Like, are you molding your words and your mindset, or are they keeping you small? They're not letting you have this power. Or is it the other way around? You're holding on to control of these things because you have control of them to keep things comfortable. For you, I would have a look at this dynamic. Cancer, that's your Mercury retrograde reading. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We are moving into your first house. It's your words, your communication, the things that you're putting out into the world when it's in your first house. The way that Leo shows up. And I think with that, it's with it being there, it's what stories are you telling yourself? What things are replaying in you that is affecting the way that you show up, Leo? These could be things from the past, your childhood, the things that made you feel safe. That you're like, it's just so much easier if I just do this. I'd feel safe when I'm like this. So now I just act like this all the time. These things are the things that could come up around this time. Again, it's not to make you feel crap or anything. It's to make you look back. Make you look back and do the work to help you move forward. Yeah? So I think there could be old stories that replaying that you tell yourself. They might feel like they're coming up more frequently because Mercury's like, come on, address this, address it. Yeah, this is how we're able to show up more authentically, which is what Leo wants at the end of the day. He wants you to show up as that main character, true authentic self-expression. Yeah, but if you've got these stories that you're telling yourself, Leo, that aren't letting you step into that main character, then that's where these things come back up for you to look back at. For you, Uranus is transiting your 11th house. There could be some things with friends here, maybe some revelations, some shocks, maybe even that or disruption with friends that leads to a breakthrough. Now, obviously, Uranus is in Gemini for a long time. With this Mercury retrograde specifically, there could just be aware things could come from friends, they could come from groups that could actually lead to a breakthrough later on. The conversations that you're having just now. So take notes of them. Like pay attention to them, Leo. That your friends, your groups, these could help you get to the goals, the bigger aspirations that you have in life. But let you have that breakthrough in these areas. I think with Mercury retrograde, making you look back and work on the stories that are help the way that you show up is going to help. Then your friends might give you the information here. There is that power dynamic between your one-to-one close relationships and yourself. Yeah? Are you projecting onto somebody else to maintain control, to maintain power, to maintain whatever? Or are they projecting onto you and you're shrinking? Yeah? Or is there a nice balance here and you don't feel that power struggle, that power dynamic between you and your one-to-one relationships? Just watch out for that dynamic going on around this time as well. It could be where you're relying too much from your relationships. That's a question to ask yourself around this Mercury retrograde. But that is pretty much it for you, Leo. The Virgo Sun, Moon and Rising. For you, we're moving into your 12th house, the house of the hidden. The things that you probably, this is the bits that you probably have battered down so far that you're not sure of anymore. And I think for you, it's the patterns. It's the automatic patterns that happen without you even thinking about it. Yeah? The subconscious patterns. There could be some stuff like the stories that come up. The stories that you've maybe told yourself for so long now that they just are the truth. That you maybe don't even think of the story anymore. Like, you just know that that's the way it is. These things might start to rear their head as a way of, like, not letting you hide yourself anymore. Yeah? Of like, okay, this side, you've hidden for this length of time, but now it's time to integrate it. Yeah? This communication thought pattern, whatever it is keeping you small, is keeping you hidden. And I think it is going to involve you being a little bit more alone and taking time to be in solitude to actually work through this. Yeah? You may even want to like invest in like a counselor or a healer or a therapist or a coach or somebody around this thing to help you work through that subconscious, the shadow work, doing that stuff around this time to work through these subconscious patterns. They might actually find that you start to lean into your spiritual beliefs, or is it your spiritual beliefs that are actually creating the miscommunications? Like, are you maybe somebody who's maybe been spiritual bypassing and people are trying to tell you that, and now you're like, oh no, I don't like it. I'm not spiritual bypassing, and there's maybe a little bit of friction between the two. There could be something like that going on around this time as well. For you, there could be some breakthroughs to be had in your career, your visibility here. So with that, this could be a good time to like start that blog, start that YouTube channel, start that whatever it is, social media. Because Uranus is on your side for the next 7 years, and it's going to be bringing shocks, breakthroughs. Might feel a little bit disruptive at times as well, but with this transit specifically, I would look at the way, are you putting out content? Are you not? Why not start? It might feel uncomfortable at the start, but it could lead you to your biggest breakthrough, because your words, when Uranus is in a sign ruled by Mercury, your words, your communication, your thoughts, they all help with that breakthrough, that shock and that thing. So I would say around this time, make sure you are being visible with your thoughts, your words, and all that stuff, whether that be in a blog, YouTube channel, whatever it is. When it comes to Pluto and Mercury, there's that dynamic between power and the words that you're speaking. I would be like thinking around, is that Mercury's in that house of the hidden? Yeah? So it makes me think of the old patterns that are making you give away your power and are actually shaping the way you live your life every day. Yeah? You're giving away this power and you're like, or you're maybe spending too much time in your head that you're not actually spending enough time doing the things every single day, like your daily routines, your health. There could be some shocks, breakthroughs here that just lead to this. That just lead to this. There could be some shocks of that actually bring these things into focus. Like, oh, do you know what? I'm not giving enough time to my work, or I'm not giving enough time to my health. I'm not looking after myself in that way. There could be some things here, but it's like, are you hiding things and not facing the things that actually need to be done? You're choosing to escape reality rather than face what's actually going on day to day. That sort of a thing here. Virgo, that is your Mercury retrograde reading. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We are moving into your 11th house. This is friends. This is groups. This is your goals, your aspirations, the things, the humanitarian causes that you maybe stand for, that sort of a thing. For you, Libra, look at these friends groups, yeah? Look at the friend groups you've got, and are they serving you, yeah? Are you the one that is shrinking? Are you the one that has been prideful and making others shrink to keep you happy? Look at this dynamic, yeah? Are these your true friends? Are these the people that support you, that are your ride or dies? Are they worth you shrinking and molding and all that other stuff? It's time for Libra to maybe take a little bit more of a center stage in their friend group. And if your friend groups don't allow it, or if they don't want you to start sharing what you actually think, then maybe it's time for you to think, right, well, maybe they're not enough people. There could be that where you're looking back at, oh, well, do you know what? They've always done this. They've done that. And they've always put me down, or they've always done. And there could be that sort of looking at this friend's dynamic here during this time. I mean, I think Libra, you do your best when you're in the spotlight with your friends. Yeah. You're the charming one. You're the one that's always been able to keep the peace between everybody. Yeah. But there could be something there, a dynamic there, that is just that you need to work on, like with the way that you show up. And I think it could be coming down to that molding to fit into the friend group and stuff like that. Libra are very guilty of that. Yeah, molding to fit, to keep everybody happy, to keep the peace. So just be careful with that around this time, and make sure that you're doing the work. If they don't like it when you're in the spotlight and when you're showing up and when you're taking up that space, then that's something that says to you, well, maybe they're not my people. Maybe I need to find people that are. Maybe I need to find people that, when I do express myself authentically, that they love me for every part of me. There could be that sort of a thing coming up. If you've got content or putting content out of your social networks around this time, there could be some things you might actually bump into friends from the past through social media. That could be another thing around this time. They might start showing up in your life. With Uranus transiting your 9th house, there could be this thing that you maybe need to look a little bit deeper. You need to, instead of like staying on the surface level with things, we need to start exploring for some meaning in things. You might find yourself wanting to go back to school, or you might find yourself reshaping your beliefs, Libra, your religious, your spiritual beliefs, your faith. Yeah, these things might start to, and they'll bring you breakthrough shocks. And maybe that is the things that are affecting the things with your friends. Maybe you've chosen something that they're like, well, I don't actually agree with that, or I don't like it, so I'm going to try and like put you down for it. Yeah, and you're like, actually, do you know what? That's not on. I'm not going to stand for that. Yeah, we can, like, I can have my own beliefs, my own interests, and from you doing that, they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, like, that's actually okay. It could lead to that breakthrough in that friend dynamic. Yeah, or that group dynamic, whatever. Also with you, we have Pluto in your 5th house. So there's that. Again, I get that. Where are you not showing up authentically, Libra? Where are you giving away your power to your friends, to your groups, to these sort of people to keep the peace? That's what I get from this. Yeah, with the Pluto being in your 5th, that's your self-expression. There could be some things with kids and stuff like that. Like if you've got kids, these things might start to come up around this time where like you're trying to be too controlling, or you're trying to take their power away maybe, or you're giving your power away to your kids even. That could be a thing here as well. There is that opposition, yeah, between the words that you're saying, the the way that your mindset is shaped with your friends, that sort of a thing. There's that. And I think that the way that you're trying to keep the peace in your friends groups, the groups that you're a part of, yeah? Not just spring. Libra, that is your reading for Mercury Retrograde. Scorpio, Sun, Moon and Rising, we are moving into your 10th house for Mercury Retrograde. This is your house of visibility, your career, your public recognition. When Mercury Retrograde is moving through there, what are you saying visibly? Yeah. What words are you saying? How are you showing up? Are you showing up like the main character, like the leader, Scorpio? Is there some beliefs that you've got or a mindset that's holding you back from showing up authentically? From showing up as the true Scorpio you are? Is there a wound from the past that you maybe need to explore around this time? Their visibility wounds might resurface for you to actually do the work and actually be able to say the things that need to be said. I think that could be a thing around this time, is like, if you're, for example, you've got that YouTube channel, but you know that something gets views and you just sort of are like, okay, well, I'll just keep on doing that. Yeah, that works. Whereas the thing that these people need to hear, you're not saying it. Yeah, it's like that thing, that sort of thing, like where you're maybe not saying things that need to be said because you're doing something else yeah, like that. I think as well, if you haven't got a business or you aren't putting content out or that sort of stuff, this could be in your career. There could be some miscommunications, some misunderstandings with colleagues, work colleagues and stuff like that. It could maybe be that, like, you're looking back at the things that have, oh, why am I not at a level, that level now? Why am I not getting to that level? You might start to think, is it because I said this? There could be things like dynamics that have maybe happened in the past that you're maybe looking back to now that you're like, oh, maybe it was because of that situation that actually shapes like why I've not been promoted. That sort of a thing could come up around this time as well. And I think the biggest thing for you is like, you've got to say the damn thing. Yeah. And don't just sit quiet. It's about saying the thing. Visibly saying what needs to be said. I think as well with Uranus moving through your 8th house, there could be some things about deepening relationships, and you could really get breakthroughs in your relationships. And that's not just, like, this is the relationships that your deeper relationships, the ones where you are sharing money, sharing resources with people. You're deepening these relationships so that you're not clinging for power, or you're not holding on to control or trying to manipulate it. It just works. Yeah. There's obviously throughout relationships, there's ups, there's downs, there's that, there's this, but it's like you're working together, you're working as a team. Yeah. You're not fighting each other all the time to get that power and to get that control of the situation. You might want to working with these things throughout this time could lead to breakthroughs. They might be a little bit shocking at first, but they'll lead to breakthroughs in the end. And I think the biggest thing for you with your 10th house being activated is, where are you hiding versus where are you taking center stage? Pluto's involved. Yeah. Pluto is in your 4th house. Yeah. Are you maybe trying to control and manipulate things to stay hidden, to hide, to stay in your shell, rather than putting yourself out there and saying, like, showing up authentically? Yeah. It's like, when it's the 4th house, that's the retreat. Where are you retreating to maintain that power and control? Rather than being visible, rather than saying the thing, rather than being the bold main character in your career, your public recognition. Yeah. So there's that push and pull in that dynamic. And I've wrote here as well that when it comes to the 8th house, with Uranus being there, you need to start to let people in, Scorpio. Let the right people in. Yeah. Once you start to get that, deepening that relationship, let people in. Scorpio, that's your Mercury retrograde leading. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Rising. For you, we're moving into your 9th house. The 9th house is about your higher beliefs, your higher mind, your faith, the things that your growth and expansion come from, your beliefs. And I think with Mercury transiting through there and the bold side of Leo, is like, what beliefs, what spiritual beliefs, religious beliefs, your faith, what things have shaped the way that you communicate, the way that you speak, the way that you process and express your thoughts? What beliefs have shaped that? That could be from higher education, through the things you've learned, through not so much like with the third house, it's maybe the things you've learned through childhood. This is more the things you've learned along the way, if you like, that is now creating wisdom. That is now like shaping the way that you express yourself, like the way you express your words, the way you express your thoughts, your ideas, and that sort of a thing. Looking at these beliefs, they might come into question, like how you develop these beliefs so that you can start to strengthen them, or not maybe or strengthen them, but maybe change them a little to make them less limiting. So you've got limiting beliefs, Sagittarius, these might be coming up around this time. And for you, that with Uranus transit in your 7th house, you might find that these beliefs, or maybe there's relationships that are leading to these beliefs. And again, it's not always love, romance, or relationships. It could be any kind of close one-to-one relationship, clients, work, business, that sort of a thing. These can come in here as well. But these relationships might be showing you these beliefs. Yeah, that you need to maybe like, okay, maybe need to look at that belief because it's actually affecting and playing out in my relationships. And it's maybe I'm not attracting the best type of people into my world because of this belief. Yeah, these things might come up. But I think with Uranus transiting through there could be some things with relationships that lead to breakthroughs throughout the next 7 years. But remember, Mercury, your communication, thoughts, intellect, and all that stuff, your mindset, beliefs, these things could be playing a part in these relationships with Uranus being there and being ruled by Mercury at this time. For you, again, it's like, what beliefs, stories are keeping you small? Yeah, with power, with Pluto being in your 3rd house, it's maybe like, where have you given away your power? Maybe to like during school, during early education, during childhood, where have you given away your power? And how's that shaped your beliefs as an adult moving forward? These things, like, are you still molding to that and giving away your power because of a wound from childhood or something like that, Sagittarius, or something that was said, or a belief that you picked up along the way, something that kept you safe, instead of owning your power? Yeah. And it's maybe shaping your beliefs in this day and age now. And that's maybe where the work you need to do around this time, Sagittarius. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For you, we are moving into your 8th house with Mercury Retrograde. With Mercury Retrograde in your 8th house, this is like your relationships, your intimate relationships, your deep relationships, and how they are affecting you. Yeah? Like the way that you express your words, the way you communicate, the way you're like expressing your thoughts, your ideas, and that sort of stuff. With it being there, it's like, where are you giving away your power? Like, where are you staying quiet? Yeah? To keep the peace, maybe. To keep things, to hold on to control of things, even. Like, if I say this, it stays comfortable. That sort of thing. Things remain stable. We like it. For you, Capricorn, it might be like, where you manipulating things to, like, you're not saying the things that need to be said. Like, because it maintains that with your relationships. It maintains that comfort. Where can you deepen those relationships so that it's not where you can show it, so that when you show up, you're showing up authentically and you're not molding and you're not shape-shifting and you're not doing all this stuff, Capricorn? What relationships do you need to work on like that? With Uranus transiting through your 6th house, there could be some things with work relationships here. Yeah, some work relationships that maybe like you'll hear something that's like triggers you a little bit and you're like, oh, I don't like that. Or maybe it's something to do with your health. Maybe your health, you have a little bit of a health scare that like leads to like something else. Yeah, there could be something going on with your health or your work or your daily, your everyday life that just like, oh, I need to work on that. Or maybe with it being your 8th house as well, it does bring up like inheritance or tax and stuff like that. Maybe something like that could shock you a little bit, but bring you to a breakthrough. You could learn information about that. I don't want to say the inheritance one because that means that somebody is no longer with us, and I don't want, that's very, very specific for a general reading. So I don't want to say that, but there could be, yeah, with it being the 8th house. 2nd house as well is activated with Pluto. Yeah, that's where Pluto is. And that is where you're giving your power away to remain comfortable, where you can have that power and be comfortable when you work together, yeah, with your relationships, because your relationships in the 8th house are them deep relationships, the ones you share your resources with, yeah, the intimate relationships. It could be like maybe some sex stuff is there going on, Capricorn, as well. I think that's one thing for you to think about during this period. Like, what are the conversations that are coming up? Like, and where are you trying to hold on to comfort and stability here? Yeah. Where are you molding to maintain that? Where are you trying to manipulate that rather than working together, working as a team here, Capricorn? Whether that be, and you could just be, it might not even be with your relationships. It could also be with like your relationship with the things that you own and stuff like that. You're like, I need to keep up with the status quo here. I need to keep up to keep things comfortable. I need to have this new thing. I need to earn this amount of money. And don't let these things define you. Yeah. And these things could be the things that you're learning through this time. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising for you. We're moving into your 7th house of relationships. Yeah. And this could be, there could be some misunderstandings, miscommunications with other people. Not always love, not always romance, but it could be like work, business, that sort of a thing. There could be some things that you're learning here that maybe just like you need to work through. Yeah, and it could be, you might not even be like, it might be you looking back at things that have happened in the past that you're now like, that have maybe shaped the way that you show up in relationships today. And you're like, well, this isn't really working for me anymore. I need this to change. I need to liberate myself. I need to change from these patterns of communication that are maybe making me stop showing up as that main character in my relationships. Maybe I'm just being a supporting role here, where I maybe need to take more center stage, and I maybe need to learn a little bit different and say things a little bit differently in my relationships. There could be that dynamic going on here for you, Aquarius. Your 5th house also gets a mention here with Uranus, because remember, Mercury is ruling Uranus now. So that kind of brings that Mercury retrograde is making you look back at maybe the creative projects, the hobbies, your maybe even old relationships. Like, because like when you're maybe looking back at that dating phase of your relationship, or that romantic, the early stages, the honeymoon period, if you like, you might find yourself looking back at this time so that you can move forward from it. Yeah. And get the breakthroughs, the things, get breakthroughs from the words that you're saying now, because you've done the looking back at this to be able to learn the lessons from these things. So there could be that sort of a thing going on in your 5th house, with Uranus being there, that could lead to bigger breakthroughs later on down the line. Yeah. But you're maybe learning about this information just now. I think with you, Pluto is in your 1st house, Aquarius. This is, again, it's where are you trying to hold on to power and control that in the way that you show up, yeah? And the way that you express yourself. What are you trying to hold on to power and control that way, yeah? Like, are you leaning too much into that uniqueness that your relationships kind of feel like they're floating up here? Are they playing the supporting role maybe? And you're the one that's holding on to too much of that limelight in your relationship because you're trying to maintain that freedom and that individuality here, Aquarius. Yeah? Whereas you can work in harmony. You can feel like you belong together when you work together. So it's maybe like, where do you need to look at maybe sharing things with your partners, or like not just love, could be business, could be anything as well. Where do you maybe need to let your people help you? Let people support you, yeah? Instead of maybe, or it could be where you're relying on them too much. But I think when it is in the 1st house, it's more about like, where do you maybe needing to get more support, yeah? Maybe looking at that dynamic, Aquarius. But that is your Mercury retrograde reading, Aquarius. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising for you. We're moving into your 6th house, which is all about your day-to-day, your everyday, your health, your pets even could come in here. I just had a vision of you like sitting talking to a pet and like, no, there could be things going on with pet. But anyway, so you've got, it's mostly your day-to-day, your work, the way you serve in the world. And with that Mercury being in there could be some miscommunications, misinformation. You could be learning things about things at work where you maybe need to take more of a leading role. Like, you need to step up here and be like, it's actually ruling your life now. It's not balanced. You're maybe feeling like, I need to actually say the things that, because right now this is running my life. I don't have that time to be alone. Like, Pluto is in your 12th house, Pisces, and that's like, Where are you giving away your power? Like, where are you shrinking? Where are you hiding? Where are you not seeing things in the day-to-day that allow you to have that time to yourself? Yeah? And allow you to be able to hold on to that power there. Yeah? Is there beliefs? Is there hidden patterns that are cropping up in your day-to-day that are shaping the way you do things that you need to address in that 12th house? I think as well with Uranus moving through your 4th house, there could be old family conditioning here that you need to address. That's creating these patterns in the 12th house, as like the subconscious patterns that you've got that are making you shrink and not say the things that need to be said. That is making you always stuck in work mode and not being able to have time to actually live your life. There could be some things with health as well. You're maybe learning information about your health around this time. So but I think there's definitely when Pluto's in your 12th house, it's like, okay, you're going to get a lot more power and control by being on your own at the moment and learning more and addressing these hidden patterns that you've maybe gathered from like childhood, early childhood, from like the past. Yeah, you're going to be getting a lot more power from these. But if you're always stuck in the day-to-day and not seeing the bigger picture and not doing the work, Pisces, then you're giving away your power here. Yeah, and that's what Pluto doesn't want. He wants you to gain your power, and when he's in the house of the hidden, it's going to come from solitude. It's going to come from doing the inner work. It's going to come from doing the shadow work and all that stuff. So for you, Pisces, I think it's where do you really need to escape reality a little bit? Not as in like going too far. Yeah, because you can escape reality, like take drugs, disappear for a few days, and go on a bender. Not that kind of escape reality, but where do you need to just be taking more time alone and away from the day-to-day? I would say with Pluto being there, like you're going to get a lot of power from doing that solitude, from taking that solitude and doing the inner work and working on the hidden patterns that have shaped your day-to-day, Pisces. With Uranus transiting your 4th house, I would say look at family conditioning. Yeah, look at the conversations that you've had. There are maybe conversations that have shaped things from early childhood, from your family, from maybe even your family dynamics now. The things that are coming up just now that could lead to breakthroughs, like are they telling you, like, you need to stop just working all the time, Pisces? It's time to slow down. It's time to be at home. Yeah. And take some time to yourself. I do feel like that's maybe that you're getting stuck in the day-to-day sort of things here. Pisces, that is your Mercury retrograde reading.